Hey, it's me, WWE Hall of Famer from the LOD, Road Warrior Animal. And who are you? Hey, it's WWE Hall of Famer from the Legion of Doom, Road Warrior Animal.
And I'm Big Mike, Michael Elgin, representing Impact Wrestling. And we're here so you can listen to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling podcast,
Monty and the Pharaoh. Oh, what a rush.
I'm having one fun with Monty and the Pharaoh, and I'm going to put him in a crossface chicken, and he's going to go down right now. Yeah.
Yes, I will be riding
We lost Road Warrior Animal.
Oh my goodness!
Unbelievable.
Can you guys maybe talk about it?
Yeah, such a shock. I mean, over the years we've lost so many of our good friends, and we've lost a lot of the wrestlers that weren't really close to us, and it's sad. But we were talking over the weekend because it's the first time Barry and I had seen each other for probably a month or so, right?
Yep. Couple months.
And it was right. It was not a left field. It was completely out of the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest. I mean, I've thought of him quite often the last days, and it seems like everybody that contacts me, emails me, or texts me, they want my opinion on it. And I just say, hey, I have no opinion. I don't have any words for it. I texted his wife and conversed with her, and I said, there's nothing I can say that is going to help you through this grieving process, other than the fact that you have to know that there's millions of fans that loved him, and there's lots of the guys that loved him, and he's one of the very few that, Nikolai Volkov and a few guys that have died that have, Barry and I've talked about, we just couldn't understand. Guys you think that are going to die for one reason or another.
Right.
And Barry knew Joe a lot longer than I did, but I mean, we were traveling up and down the road to all these conventions and stuff, good friends, and just sad, man, it's just sad.
Yeah, it's and I broke in the business with him and Hawk, and it just I got the text the morning after. Joe Rogers texted me, and he said, "Yeah, is it true that Animal died?" And it was probably about 6 in the morning, and I thought to myself, well, the only animal I know that would have died was George the Animal Steel. Yeah, George the Animal Steel died.
Yeah.
And he said, "No, Road Warrior Animal." I thought, you got to be kidding me.
Right.
I was just with him not too long ago. We did a TV show together, and he looked fantastic. So that was just like, oh my gosh, any of us could die at any time. Terrible. What a great guy. Nice guy.
We met him. He was in studio
Not that long
probably
ago.
not too long ago.
Yeah,
really
last half
fantastic
a year.
gentleman. Really
Yeah.
unbelievable.
He was awesome.
My career has impacted other people's lives.
Well done. And that was not scripted, by the way. That was straight to the top.
Yeah, absolutely.
Road Warrior Animal passed away recently. Thoughts on Road Warrior?
Yeah. Like many, I suppose. I mean, very surprising. His wife had reached out to me just about, 10, 12 days prior, I think a couple weeks prior to that, just randomly and said, hey, Joe's 60th birthday's coming up. I'd like to surprise him. Would you shoot me a video, happy birthday video to him? And, of course, I mean, Joe and I go back to 1978. I think I was sharing with you guys, or some of the guys, that when I went to the funeral service, other than his brother John and his brother Mark, I looked around that room, kind of dawned on me, I've known him longer than anybody else in that room, with the exception of his two brothers.
Wow.
And I guess, the number one thing is it just lends itself for all of us to understand, that mortality is a reality, and there is no promise of tomorrow. We do what we can, or I do what I can to take care of myself, exercise, eat, work out, and do the things I feel I'm within my control to do, but still realizing that there is no promise of tomorrow, and so these sorts of things happen. I posted a magazine cover shot. It was interesting. It was Ivan and I wearing the NWA tag team belts, and Animal and Hawk wearing the AWA tag team belts. And I asked the fans, I go, hey, what do you notice about this magazine cover? And I think only one or two pointed out the fact that I'm the sole survivor of that cover at this point. That the other three have all passed on. So.
Well, we know what I've.
I wanted to thank you, by the way. It was. I wanted to thank you for you were talking about Animal,
Yeah.
Joe Laurinaitis. And it's funny because I've mentioned this recently to a lot of people. I shot this photo that's on this sweatshirt along with Craig Peters. We did some horror lighting, etc. And the Road Warriors asked permission to make this into a sweatshirt. And I've had this sweatshirt here for a long time, and I wanted to pay homage tonight to both of them. It's really funny because as much as I knew Joe, I knew him from the day that Ole Anderson put him in a biker outfit, called him Animal, and I never called him Joe. Even when I saw him personally, we'd go out to dinner and do things, photo sessions, interviews. He was always Animal to me, and Mike was always Hawk to me. I always call them by their character names, but with the loss of him, it was so shocking. I got a call at about 6:45 in the morning Eastern time from Sal Corrente. He's the guy who invented Wrestle Reunion. He was known as the Big Cheese, and he's still around the business. And he said, Joe died. And I said, Joe who? And he said, Animal. I was like, the whole day yesterday, during the day I work for a nonprofit company, beside doing the wrestling full time. I help people with disabilities to find jobs. I couldn't go out and do anything yesterday. My body and my mind were obliterated by that news. I had just sent a video to his lovely wife, Kim, for his 60th birthday. She was kind of getting videos from everybody, and she included me on that. And she said he loved it because what I did, I said, who's this video for? Oh, Joe, the guy with the makeup? Oh, the demolition guy, right? She said he roared at that. He thought it was the funniest thing he'd ever heard. And he celebrated that, and then I wished them happy anniversary on their Facebook page. And then that next morning, the call from Sal, and my phone just blew up the whole day. And I'm still pretty much in a state of shock over this whole thing because sometimes you expect these things, but this makes the year 2020 suck even more.
Agreed. Bill,
and I rarely use that word.
You have this extended family, and again, I know we're joking around, but you're joking around. You are an icon. You're talking to two lifelong fans.
Oh yeah.
And you made a difference in our lives. And when you make a difference in one person's life like you have, you're an icon. But I reach out to you and I ask you this question. With this extended family of yours, what we were talking about earlier, how hard is it to deal with this constant turmoil and pain? It's, you have enough with your own family and your close friends, but now you have this extended family with even closer friends. How does a man like Bill Apter handle this?
It's never easy. A lot of fans, a lot of people look to me for the confirmation of people dying, and I hate to be that guy, but I feel like it's something I'm supposed to do because there are so many thousands of sites on the internet that report rumors that so and so died, but unless I can confirm it with someone in the family or someone like Sal Corrente, I won't do that. So it's never, ever easy. The recent deaths of my best friend in the business, Mr. Wrestling Number 2. You can see his mask right above me next to that belt that some fan made for me out of Legos. Death of Bruno Sammartino, Pedro Morales, all these people whose careers I, along with the rest of the team at the magazines, chronicled and brought it to you pre-internet. It's very, very, very difficult. It's very hard to deal with. It's losing family.
Yeah, I'm lost for words. All I know is when I heard, I go to work pretty early in the morning, and I heard pretty early in the morning, and I have a few friends that are very close to Animal, and I didn't know if they were awake yet, and all I could think to myself was, do I call them and tell them, or are they going to wake up and open up Facebook and find out? And I didn't even know how to approach it.
But you know what? In the meantime, the other side of that is the great stuff that he brought to all of us, that he and Hawk did. They were the best kick-ass team. I used to think that the Andersons, Ole and Gene, were the toughest team in wrestling till I saw the Road Warriors. And I saw one of their first matches before the makeup, and they were kicking the crap out of who was it? David Sammartino and Roberto Soto, I think it was. And I was shooting right this close, and I was going like, these guys aren't pulling anything. And little by little, the way I became friends with them and Precious Paul Ellering, and then the photo shoots that Craig Peters and I would do, and the interviews on the Crockett shows and World Championship Wrestling, where we just had fun improving with each other. They brought a whole new, like ECW changed the business forever, they changed the business forever. And it was great. They were guys. So I want to look at the happy side of, had we not had him or them, we never would have known about this. So I count our blessings that we were able to see.
We use the word icon every so often. You are an icon. We lost Road Warrior Animal a couple of weeks ago.
Man. I had
share
some
any
of the
thoughts
first
on that?
matches with them guys. They come in from Minnesota, and I can't remember who my partner was, but I think we had one of their first TV matches with them, and they just beat the dog stink out of us. Of course, that's all they knew how to do. They were bouncers to begin with, and I guess I only found them up there or something. I don't know what the whole deal was, but anyway, they was there at TV and they was wrestling, and I tell you what, two great guys, and it's a big loss for the wrestling world, their families, and and all the wrestling fans out there, because they were two class guys.
You ever been hit that hard the first time you got in the ring with those two? Had you ever been hit that hard in the ring? Is it true how stiff
they
were?
hit hard. I mean, but back when I started, I got hit hard by a lot of them.
Okay.
Abdullah Butcher, he could hit pretty hard too.
There's our old buddy Abdullah.
Yeah, I mean, it just, but they was probably, and they would just go 100 miles an hour. It wasn't no stopping with them. They was out there and they would just go, and yeah, you fought for your life, but two great guys, man. And, at the end of the day, after you got to know them and everything, two fine guys.
Well, let me ask you, they worked stiff with you even though they were green and you had this reputation, they were still stiff with you?
Well, that's all they knew. They were stiff with everybody. yeah. But as time went on, we learned to dance together. I call it dancing.
Right.
And the more we danced together, the smoother it got. And I mean, it's like one night we wrestled Road Wars, me and Jerry Lawler, and they wanted to eat my lunch, and they wouldn't do it because we had built a bond, and I've just always respected them guys, and like I said again, it's a great loss to their family and the wrestling world, man.
Did anybody ever object to their working so stiff in their early days? Did some of the veterans come up to them and go, "What are you doing?" Or were they so physically imposing that they commanded respect right from the start, even though they were fresh into the business?
Well, you got to remember, like, I mean, at the beginning, the Funks and all them guys, they fought hard anyway. Mm-hmm. When I come in, I got my ass whooped quite a few times, I mean, you can call it Hollywood, but a lot of times it wasn't. I mean, you got in there and fought. It was wrestling. I mean, when I started, I mean, it was like I went to wrestling school, and I learned that there, and I wrestled in high school. But when you got in, especially me, I was like a kid in there with grown men, and so it was easy for them to whoop my ass if they wanted to.
Just recently, we lost a road warrior animal. I understand that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you actually introduced his wife, Kim, to him. Is
Kim
that
and Joe,
true?
yeah.
Could you tell that story and maybe share some thoughts on Road Warrior?
Yeah, Joe, both of them, Joe and Mike, were, we were all real good friends. Joe didn't really party that much. In fact, I don't know that he partied at all. But Mike and I, Road Warrior Hawk and I, we partied a lot together. But, a lot of us did. And, Joe was always kind of the more business and more quiet, stick to the script kind of shit. At least what I knew of him, which I knew pretty good. But as far as the wife, I think she's from Houston, and her and I were real good friends at one time. And I was sitting talking to her. Joe walked by, and I hate to. No, I can't. Because Kimmy might see this. Well, it's just kidding, sort of, Kimmy. It was that night that you were talking so much. I was like, damn. Joe walked by and said, "Hey," so I introduced them. Next thing I know, they're married.
Oh wait. So it's like you're like, I got to get out of this Kim deal and walk off. So
yeah, man. I don't know if she don't do cocaine as far as I know.
Right.
But I don't know what the hell was going on. It was yep. And if COVID had been around there, I'd have caught it. I'd have had it. But yeah, so I introduced him. It's just like because she banned. I mean, she's still, very pretty girl. I think she's probably watching this.
She's a very pretty girl. Very pretty. Yeah.
Well, her younger day, bro, she was a typical Texas Rose, man. She was knock them all out.
Your thoughts when you heard he had passed, because this was obviously a shock to the community.
What's that?
Community. When Road Warrior passed, what were your thoughts?
Man, I started getting phone calls right away because a lot of the boys knew that we were pretty good. At first, it was hard to believe because, like, not Joe. This man's in shape. This guy's, he's healthy. He don't do, as far as I know, don't do any drugs. There's no way. It's just not possible. Is what I kept thinking. And then the more the calls come in, I guess it is true. And it broke me down a little bit. We flipped these on for our crying here. Real rockers aren't supposed to cry, I don't think, but actually they do. But yeah, it was heartbreaking, and you know, the first thing I thought about was Kimmy. Like, I know it's crushing her because I think they just celebrated the night before their anniversary. You know, so you know, you got this big event, and then that happens. They didn't have no details like what happened. You know, did he just keep walking and fall over, or did, from what I understand, you know, he just didn't wake up or something. And I considered that because that's kind of what happened to Hawk. You know, Hawk had told me that right before, brother, I've worked so damn hard today without any drugs. And because I think he'd quit and he'd straightened up. It's funny when you straighten up is when shit goes wrong. But he, Hawk, they were moving or something. He was telling me he'd moved a ton of furniture. Because I used to do that before I got in wrestling for North American Van Line. So I'd move furniture all day long. 8 hours of stacking a truck, then drive the tractor trailer truck to unload it the next day. It's wrestling with furniture is a workout. But Mike told me that. You know, he said, "Brother, you ain't kidding about this working. God damn, the furniture, wrestling with furniture, shit. I thought I was a badass." And then I guess he died in his sleep. You know, the heart was just gave out. You know.
Marty, you're a tag team legend, obviously. Where is the Road Warriors to you? Are they the greatest tag team in the history of this business, the Road Warriors?
I think so, but in the fact they probably drew the most money, which that's what it's all about. But they changed the game. They changed the industry. You know, when they came in, there wasn't guys that were like, you know, there was a big guy here, a big guy there, but the character that came with it. You know, the haircuts, the personality, the romping, stomping, you couldn't hurt them. You know, the Iron Man song, the whole thing, man, just changed. It changed the industry, bigger and faster than anything else I've ever seen. I've been around it for I've been in it for 35 years, been around it for 45 years. No, I've never seen nothing like that. Nothing like that.
How do you cope with this though? It just seems like we talk about this all the time. The wrestling community, you guys have gotten, so close with each other, and maybe people pass faster than normal people. I mean, it's got to be tear at you when you build these kind of relationship, and this happens, right?
And like you said about the bond, we bond. I almost want to say like war mates, but I don't want to take away from people who actually war. Like my brother, served in Vietnam, so I wouldn't dare say that. It's like we go to war together.
Right.
But it's in a sense we do, because especially when we go to other countries, we're the only ones that know each other. And a lot of times when you go in these, sorry, I fixed my paper tooth. I'll explain that.
What, do you got a paper tooth? What? I'm going to hear about that next.
How do you eat steak?
I'll take the paper out.
You got to take the paper tooth out, of course.
Sometimes a big piece will get clogged in the gap.
How do you clean that paper tooth? It's paper.
I'll get another piece of paper.
So we just like put a piece
I've got some. I'll show you. I've got my replacement.
Yeah,
teeth
I want to
here.
see what a paper tooth looks like.
What?
I think I got it.
Are
here.
you reaching for more paper teeth?
Right now,
what is going
well,
on
because this
here?
one only lasts so
wrestling
long.
icon Marty Jannetty reaching for his paper tooth.
Here it is.
There it is, paper tooth.
What?
And see, the problem, my teeth are so yellow. I got to drink coffee to darken this, so it matches.
Yeah.